Welcome back to Rising. Lindsay, what's in your lens today?
We're talking about The Great Gatsby, not something I thought I would be talking about, but here we are. I hope everyone had a good Halloween. The president certainly did. He spent his weekend throwing a Great Gatsby-themed party at Mar-a-lago. Now, The Great Gatsby, for those who might have missed the symbolism in high school English, is a story about excess, illusion, and the moral decay behind wealth. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote of the rich, saying, quote, "They were careless people. They smashed up things and creatures, and they retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness and let other people clean up the mess they had made." So the question is, was the Gatsby theme deliberate as a metaphor or just completely tone deaf? Because while guests sipped champagne under chandeliers, millions of Americans were losing SNAP benefits amid one of the longest government shutdowns in U.S. history. And it doesn't stop at the costume party. The White House is collecting money for a new Trump ballroom, a $300 million project, offering wealthy donors the chance to stay anonymous, even when their companies have business before his administration, according to the New York Times. The optics are grim. Major healthcare firms seeking Medicare favors. Wall Street powerhouses looking for trade advantages. Even NVIDIA's CEO admitting to donating to the project. So the message is loud and clear. Loyalty gets rewarded behind closed doors. Ethics experts have raised concerns about these donations, noting that they could lead to special treatment for donors or even test federal prohibitions on agencies accepting private gifts. Trump insists the ballroom is apolitical and that he'll contribute his own money, but the secrecy surrounding certain donors only deepens suspicion. Meanwhile, a Yahoo YouGov poll shows that 60% of Americans disapprove of how Trump is handling the economy, and only a third approve. The country's struggling, and yet the president is hosting a Gatsby-style gala, while food assistance for 42 million people hangs in limbo. Even California Governor Gavin Newsom weighed in on X, writing, quote, "Donald Trump hosted a Great Gatsby party while SNAP benefits were about to disappear for 42 million Americans. He does not give a about you." Donald Trump once built his brand by connecting with voters, promising to shake up Washington and level the playing field. But now he's building a ballroom instead of rebuilding that bond. Because when you spend your weekend partying in your own marble palace while people skip meals, and when you take favors from the rich to fund your personal projects, you don't just lose trust, you prove that you never understood who you were talking to in the first place. So I just think a lot of times it's about optics and being out of touch right now. To see that a lot of people, and 40 million is not a small number, people are trying to figure out how they're going to get groceries for the rest of this month. A lot of them disabled, some of them veterans, some of them young people, some people who are in between jobs in this rough economy that he said he was going to fix. At the same time, he's throwing a lavish, tone-deaf party about the rich and famous who can constantly...
Halloween.
Yeah, but it's not Halloween was the eve of SNAP benefits expiring. I mean, if President Obama used to golf, and then he golfed on Saturday, by the way, so he's not that concerned with the current state of affairs, it seems, from optics-wise. If President Obama would do the same thing, it would be a problem. We would talk about, oh, he's in Martha's Vineyard, I can't believe. I mean, plenty of critics did. You might not have, but plenty of people did. So I just want to be clear that this is how our president spent the weekend when we're in dire circumstances for a lot of people. So that poll that came out just this weekend said 60% of people are blaming Trump, thinking this is a bad economy, and this is what he's doing. So while you say you don't connect the $300 million project or just enjoying a simple Halloween to American tax dollars, you still should clearly see there's a connection between how the president is living and what he ran on, aligning with these people and leaving people in the dust who are the most vulnerable in our country.
I take a different lesson from the story of The Great Gatsby, which is one of my favorite novels. I consider it to be the quintessential American novel, which is about the American dream. And Gatsby is no one and rises only from his own hard work and self entrepreneurship to wealth and privilege and power that he built for himself, and then falls as well because of his own hubris and obsession with Daisy and other things. So in America, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps and
with
rise,
dirty money and
for your hubris fall.
You're painting a very nice picture of Gatsby.
So all these people who need, well, Gatsby is great. I love Gatsby. I love the book. I love the character.
This is the author, F. Scott Fitzgerald, that wrote a summation of what he wrote the book.
So people who are reliant on government handouts for their food maybe should channel a little bit of that American spirit and work to better themselves and not be reliant on the generous taxpayers at all turns for their money.
Let's put SNAP to the side. the government is shut down. Air traffic controllers who are reliant on using their skill to organize plane flights throughout our country are now still not getting paid for the fourth week in a row. One of them, very popularly, because we had a News Nation special, said they're working DoorDash to pay for their kid to go to college. That's an example, present day, of DoorDash jumping in and saying, we'll help you out because our government will not. And the president is having a nice day. This is not a government handout. This is a man with probably a six-figure job that's trying to put a kid through an expensive college, right? That's the American dream also. They can't achieve it, but you're partying over there, spending hundreds of thousands probably on this life. I mean, did you see the party? There were dancers coming out of champagne flutes, probably 10 feet, 20 feet in the air. Like, this is what the president is spending the money on, while people who are not even asking for SNAP benefits, who work in our government, just getting things done so that people could travel to his party
Do air
safely.
traffic control services need to be provided by the government?
But they are. Here we are. You're asking, so because they are.
Core function of government to be
should
probably is something.
Should the president handle this right now, though?
efficiently.
Should the president handle this right now? We're here and
They
we
should
do.
be working. The president
Do you
is
fly
working
around?
to
How
get
did
out of the
everyone
government
get?
shutdown.
He's not.
He wants to get
He's
out of the government
not.
shutdown.
He literally is not. He went on 60 Minutes and said, I can't believe, Democrats aren't doing anything.
Well, frankly,
we want
it's
to
not
pass a
his
clean
job.
CR.
It's Congress's job.
No, he got involved early on and then played games. The Democrats wanted to have a meeting with him. He canceled the
Playing
meeting.
games. Democrats are playing games.
No, he's literally canceled the meeting with
Republicans wanna
Democrats.
vote for the exact same thing, and Democrats are playing politics and want a bunch of extra goodies thrown in. And they're Republicans saying
Not
no
goodies
extra
for people
goodies.
not to pay
The Obamacare
$2,000
subsidies are
for.
extra goodies.
It's
Those
not
were
goodies for
supposed to expire.
$2,000 for health care. Like, people need health
The
care in this
Democrats
country.
want to do a policy change.
You just heard Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No.
So even MAGA is split on this if anybody follows Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is a problem. You can't put a Band-Aid over healthcare and just say, oh, we'll talk about it later. Later is right now. We're literally in open enrollment. It started over the weekend as well. People simultaneously are trying to figure out what their health costs will be. Some people are going to watch it go from $900 to about $1,900, which is completely uncomfortable and unfeasible, especially in an economy that people are blaming the president for not being good.
Fix the healthcare system. We all agree on
So
that.
what's the president
That
doing?
needs to be done separately than simply subsidizing the failing system as part of an effort to fund the government. We should fund the government, and eventually Democrats will see reason and give in, I predict, and agree to fund exactly, and then we'll be like, well, why did we have to wait a month when SNAP benefits expired and air traffic controllers didn't have paychecks or whatever? We could have just done it a month earlier if Democrats agreed to it. That's how it's going to end, and as soon as the sooner Democrats get that through their heads and just vote for this thing, then we'll be out of this calamity that is not even that bad.
If you saw
And
it
then we can work
in my
on
reading,
healthcare.
we talked about how people feel about the president and how they don't think he's doing a great job with the economy. So if he's the deal maker, he also ran on that. I get things done. Why are we still here? He should be making a deal and having a conversation internally. He can make a bunch of international.
The deal on the table
He's asking.
is to
Wait,
vote
let me
for the
finish.
thing.
He's asking for international Nobel Peace Prize for his deal making, and he can't even sit down with people that are in his own country that all want the same exact goals, right? Which is prosperity, happiness for their family, all the basic American values that we all tout on both sides of the aisle. Then he needs to have a conversation with them.
They've had a conversation.
He is at the
and the
helm
Democrats won't
of
vote
the
for
Republican
it.
Party.
So
No,
there's nothing else to
a
do.
conversation is not my way or the highway. It's not clean CR and nothing. A conversation is, okay, let's start talking about this healthcare policy, and here's the Mike Johnson of the world who said they have all these ideas. Let's share them with Democrats so that they can know, and then they both should come to the table and tell us, here's what we're going to do about healthcare, and we're also going to pass a clean CR. That is a way forward.
I think we'll sit here and wait until Democrats get on board, and that's going to happen eventually. The New York mayoral election is just one day away. Coming up, what President Trump and Hakeem Jeffries have to say about Zohran Mamdani possibly becoming the Big Apple's next mayor.